Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Today is Monday, August 25th, 2025. It is so good to see you all this beautiful Monday morning here in Austin, Texas. Thank you so very much for joining our Monday morning touch point where we can understand exactly what is going on with the market because we have a desire and a responsibility to be market experts regarding the Austin market so that we can in turn educate our clients and our clients can become market experts. And it does give us a very unique perspective into the market, and we can negotiate way better in our clients' behalf when we know the data. We want to be completely reliant on the data. So thank you so very much for joining. Super appreciate it. This is where we update the new listing to pending ratio, the single best leading market indicator for the entire area. That is where we take everything that is new on the market and we simply divide it by everything that went under contract. And it's going to give us a very simple and yet powerful ratio that's going to tell us in relation to what came on the market, what was absorbed by the market, not only over time, over the past few weeks, but right now, where is the market heading? That is what we all want to find out. And that's the question that we get. What is going on with the market? How's the market? That's the number one question that we as agents receive on a daily and weekly basis. And this is the information that will help and equip you to answer that question. Let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, we're going to update the new listing to pending ratio. We always start by going backwards in time a little bit so that we can capture all of the updated pending data. Agents, unfortunately, especially builders, are sometimes late on updating the pending data. So we do have to go backwards in time and update it. So we're going to start by going back to August 11th all the way through August 18th. And we're going to take a look at what went pending. And also we're going to update the active under contract. The pending is going to go from 378 to 381. Let's take a look to see if the active under contract is also updated. That stays exactly the same. Let's go back to the 4th to the 11th, and that's going to be 426. Perfect. That does not change. We're going to go from the 28th all the way through the 4th. That's going to be 471. So we are going to update that from 470. 21st to the 28th, that's going to be 517, 1421, 535, 535. Let's make sure that everything is updated. That's going to be 490. Let's keep on going. And we're going to go from the 30th all the way through the 7th. That's going to be 469. I'm just going to pull a few more weeks just to make sure that everything is perfect. And that's going to be 505. You see, we're updating all the way back to June. That's how late some agents are in updating the information. 509. We're going to keep on going because we want to make sure the data is completely accurate. That's why our clients trust us, because we have access to the single best data in the world. And that's going to be 508. We're going to go back to May 26th all the way through June 2nd. That's going to be 566. I'm just going to go back 2 more weeks just to make sure. You see, look at that. That's amazing. This is going to be 536, 536. I mean, isn't it incredible just how agents will go all the way back, sometimes 2 months to update the data? Just really crazy. Whenever I get 2 weeks where the data is perfect, then I stop. 563. This is going to be 563. We're back to April. We are back to April and we're still updating some pending information. This is crazy. And once again, as soon as I go 2 weeks without, okay, now we are 100% good to go. We don't have to update anything else. Now we can go and we can start updating this past week. And we're going to start with the number of new listings. And we are at 849. Keep in mind, this is going to be for the 6-county area: Travis, Williamson, Bastrop, Hayes, Caldwell, and Burnett counties. So we have 849 new listings. Let's go price increase. We're at 325 price increases. Let's take a look at price decrease. And that's going to give us 18. Oh, that's not bad. 1832. Oh, take a look at this, you all. We've got some really good news. 85%. That is amazing. That's going to be the lowest number, lowest percentage. Wow. Lowest going all the way back to February where we had 85%. And this is going to be out of everything that could have gone up or down in price, what went down? 85%. That's really amazing. Because not too long ago, 2 months ago, we were at 95%. Now we're at 85%. That's just incredible. Well, where were we last year? Let's go take a look at April last year. We were at 91%. August. August of last year, we were at 91.88, and now we're 91.85. So that is good. That is very good. Let's take a look at back on the market. We are at 181 back on the market. That stays the same at 21%. Now let's take a look at active under contract. Okay, well, that's a little bit disappointing. 358 active under contract. Now, this is where you get to guess. I need 5 guesses. I need 5 people to write down what is your guess on the number of pending properties going from April, or not, why do I keep saying April? From August 18th all the way through August 25th. We got Harold starting us off at 245, followed by John D at 299, Daniel Cavaledo at 300, Anai at 280, Seth coming in. Very consistent, Seth. I love it. 222. Let's go ahead and we got 239, Sonia. We are looking at okay, well, interesting. We are looking at, well, it does start with a 2. And then we've got 235. 235. 235 pending. That's going to give us a 0.58 ratio going into the day. That's very similar to the ratio that we had last week. That's how we started at roughly at about the 0.58, which means that this time next week, we are going to be close to that 0.7 to 0.72 ratio. We're at the 0.75 for the previous week. Now, that does mean that out of every 4 properties coming on the market, 3 are going under contract. Out of every 4, 3 are going under contract. Now, inventory is going down simply because of the cyclical nature of the real estate market. Number of active listings are down. It did peak. We're going to do a brief overview on the active inventory. But in relation to what's coming on the market, 3 out of every 4 properties coming on the market are going under contract. That is a dramatic improvement for what we were seeing just a few weeks ago, where we just started hitting some 0.6s, 0.69, 0.63, 6.8. Here's another 6.8 right there. And then we got up to 0.88 July 21st, back up to 0.8. So we are noticing some positive improvement here within the market. Let's take a look at the year over year. And this is it. This is what's really encouraging for me. From August 4th through August 11th, compared to August 5th, 2024 to August 12th, so exactly the same week, year over year, we finally have a ratio this year that is better than the ratio last year. And that's something that we really didn't see much of at all. We got really close right here back in April, but this year we've just been underperforming for the most part. We had one back in February, 0.83 versus 0.82. But for the most part, we've been underperforming last year. That changed a little bit just 3 weeks ago. Last week, we're off by a little bit. We've had 2 weeks ago, and that's the data that we updated last week, which means 2 weeks ago, up 10.1% on active listings, but down 4.6% on all properties that went pending, active under contract and pending, down 44. That number is going to improve. We could very well be positive, and that's going to mark the 9th week in a row where we've had more properties going pending this year compared to last year. If this number goes positive, we are negative 44 right now, but we all saw that I have to update the pending in the active under contract, more so the pending, for weeks. Especially builders. It's really common for builders to collect all the contracts. They go under contract on 20, 30 properties across, maybe 15 subdivisions. You take a D.R. Horton, a Lennar, more so on the D.R. Horton side of things. And what happens is they'll sell 25 properties over a 10-day period. They'll just collect all those contracts. And then they'll update all of the properties from active to pending 3 weeks later. And that's why you get a sudden rush of 25 properties that go pending. And then 2 weeks later, it sells. That is going to be very common with new construction. Kind of drives me crazy, but it is what it is. But we can expect this negative 44 number to, I'd say there's a 90% chance that it'll turn positive, and it'll mark that 8th week in a row where it turns positive. I'm very encouraged to see what's happening with the pending numbers across the entire market. Really encouraged. And I am seconds away, days away from saying that the market did indeed already bottom out as far as activity. And now we're showing and witnessing a gradual and steady improvement in activity. That's really good. I am noticing an increase in showings, an increase in buyer demand. We now have positive news for rates. Not the best news today. We are over the repricing line on the 10-year. We're still at 6.625 on the 30-year fixed rate, but we're at 6% on FHA, which is really good. Hopefully this week will bring us some good news that'll cause an improvement within the bond market. But so far today, we are up what? Let me turn around here and take a look at what are we up? We're up 2.2 basis points on the 10-year Treasury. That does put us across a repricing line. So even though we still have that 6.625 from Friday, if things don't improve by noon, we could very well be back to the 6.75. So the recommendation for the clients, it's what? Lock and float, lock and float. That's always going to be the recommendation for the clients. Now let's take a look at this entire month. And what we are going to do first is we're going to update the pending for the previous month, and that's going to be 1859. Let's go ahead and just go to June, see if we have to update June. That's going to be 1835. That doesn't change. Let's go May really quick just to be sure. That's going to be 207. That actually goes down 2071. Let's go April then, see what's going on in April. That's going to be 2119. So that's all good. Let's start updating the active or the number of new listings so far this entire month. We are on the 25th of the month, so we have access to a lot of really good data to see how the entire month is going to play out. We are at 3002, which last August, we were at 3,933 new listings. I do not foresee us beating that. So we're going to have less new listings entering the market August 2025 compared to August 2024. Let's take a look at price increase. We're at 700, exactly 700 price increases. Price decrease, we are at, let's take a look at it here. We are at 6,274, 90%. Same thing. There you go. We were at 91% last August. We're at 90% right now. So we've got less new listings entering the market. In relation to the price drop versus price increase, we've got a lower percentage. So that's positive. So we've got positive on new listings, positive on price decreases. Let's keep on going. Let's take a look at back on the market. We are at 626, 626, same exact number, a little bit higher than August of 2024. That was at 20%. Let's take a look at active under contract. We are at 1476. So we've got 6 days left, right? Wait, is this a 30 or 31 days in the month? What is it? 30 or 31? Let me take a look at the calendar right here. This is I don't even know. What is it? 30 or 31? Y'all tell me. Okay, 31. So we've got, we could very well beat August of, yeah, we're going to beat that. We are going to have more active under contract this month than August of 2024. That's great news. We're already at 1476. All we need is what? 203 more properties going active under contract so far this month to beat out August of 2024. I think we're going to do that. We're going to take a look at the year over year. So let me just hold up on that. Let's take a look at pending. We are at a little bit disappointing on pending. We're at 1,031 on pending. That's going to bring the total number of properties under contract, active under contract, and pending at 2,507. Last August, we were at 3,544. That gave us a 0.75 new listing to pending ratio. We are currently at 0.69. We're going to beat that. We're going to beat that. I would say over the next 6 days, especially with the number of builders that are delayed in reporting their pending, we could very well get another 1,000 properties going under contract between now and the end of the month, especially as we update this information going into the first and second week of September. I could really see us doing that. And then we're not going to beat the number of new listings. So I'm going to go on record saying that we are going to beat that 0.75 ratio from August of last year. I'd say when it's all said and done, when we're looking at this into the second week, third week of September, we're going to be around the 0.76, 0.77. That's what I think is going to happen, especially given the number of pending properties day over every day. This entire month, every single day this entire month, we've had a positive year over year on the number of pending. And now we're noticing a pullback on the number of new listings entering the market. That's really good news. We're going to update the withdrawn right now. That's going to be 936 withdrawn. Let's take a look at expired. That's going to be 358. That's also a fairly low number. I mean, we've got 936 withdrawn. I'd say that that's going to beat August. Now, I have to go to a different screen for the sold data. Give me 1 second so that I can log into a different part of the MLS so I can search sold for the 6-county area. And that's going to give us 1710. 1710. Let me update the previous month. That's going to be 2614. Great. Do you think expireds will go up on the 31st? Absolutely. Absolutely. It will. We are going to beat out that 597 on expireds. We are going to beat out that 597. I would be shocked if we did not beat out that 597. Very much so. It will go up on the 31st. When we roll over from the 31st to the 1st, we're going to notice this 358 go up to, I'd say, into the lower sixes, between 610 and 620. But I foresee us beating out that 597. No doubt about that. It looks like every month in the 25th is beating out the same month of 24. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely on expireds. Very much so. Very much so. Let's take a look at the year over year comparison. Let me make this just a little bit smaller for you all. So we are up 13.3% on the number of active listings. We are down 931 new listings. That's where I can say with a very high degree of confidence that I do not think that we are going to beat out last year on the number of new listings. We are down only 43 on price increases. We're going to beat out. We're down 1,006 on price drops. That is the best number that we've had going all the way back to January of 2024 compared to January 2023. And that's a big reversal. Less price drops. in the entire market. That's a really good positive number. Back on the market, we're down 159. And active under contract, we're only down by 203, but we've got 6 days left. No, 6 or what is it? Yeah, we've got 6 days left. 6 days left in the entire month, and we're only down by 203 on active under contract when you look at it year over year. To put it in perspective, for the entire month, August 2024 compared to August 2023, we were down by 206. Right now, we're down 203, and we still have 6 days left. That number is going to be positive. Not as much as the previous month at a positive 225. No way that's going to happen. But it's going to be positive into lower digits, under 100, I'd say even under 50. We are down 834 on pending. I am really hopeful that we're going to beat last year. And once again, I'm going to go on record saying we are going to beat. One number that we are not going to beat last year, it's going to be the sold. We are way, way too negative on the sold. We're down 38.1% on the sold. When you look at the properties that went pending over the past few months, and you look at the back on the market, you look at the properties that are not going and closing out escrow and successfully selling, I do not foresee us beating out the sold. That number is a lagging indicator, and that's still pulling back a little bit. We were down 6.9% last month, year over year. But I am hopeful that as we see this positive momentum on the pending, that we are now going to beat out last year's numbers on sold. Because it is a lagging indicator, it's going to take about a month or so for that data to make its way through from the leading indicator, which is the pending, to the lagging indicator, which is going to be the sold. Let's go ahead and any questions, by the way, any questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, or complaints? Any questions? Any questions? Going once, going twice. Okay, sounds good. Let me go ahead and save this really quick. Keep in mind, you all, this will be updated as soon as this call ends. I will publish the entire, 30, 40, maybe 70-page new listing to pending ratio. When you go to Insight and Statistics and you scroll down and you click on New Listing to Pending Ratio, you will be able to get the 63-page report with all of the information that we updated today so that you can serve your clients. And you're going to receive an email with a summary of this meeting with a link to the New Listing to Pending Ratio so that you can have this conversation with your client. Now we're going to transition to the Austin Daily Real Estate Briefing. This is where we, out of the 2,000 plus resources that we put together on a daily basis, what I like to do is just give you here are 36 pages. If there's one report that you can just save it on your phone, bookmark it, print it, it's the one report that just summarizes out of the 2,000 plus, this is what you need to know. This is that information. And I want to remind you that you can access this on the front page of our website. When you scroll down a bit and you see that daily market snapshot, you click there and there you have it. There's the August 25th. You can just click there and it gives you a really nice summary of what's going on with the market. And then it gives you that market snapshot. You've got a really nice FAQ and we keep a record of everything. So right here, you can go back and you can get the previous, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 5, the previous 25 days, which comes out to 6 weeks or so. You can get the previous 25 days or 5 weeks. And even if you have to go back even more. So if you want to say, I wonder what was going on the 6th. Well, then maybe the 6th was like a Saturday. Let's go like the 7th. Okay, there you go, the 7th. You can just put the date there. But I want to make sure that right here on this one little snapshot, we just have the previous 5 weeks. I don't want this to be, because this is daily, I don't want to be cluttered with 300 daily reports. This is just the most recent. But we publish this on a daily basis. If you ever want a snapshot of what happened, even last year, let me know. I can get you that report. But you can find this on the front page of teamprice.com. Let's go ahead and take a look at this daily briefing, and we are currently at 17,424 active listings on the market. As you know, the market peaked back in June 30th, 2025 at 18,146. So we are down 722. We are up slightly from Friday. When I say slightly, it's like four additional listings from Friday. Out of all of the 17,434 active listings on the market, 59.2 have had a price drop. And you can see that we are still up. We're up 14.9% year over year on the number of active listings. And the cumulative active listings, if you add everything that's come on the market, we are up 4.2% compared to the cumulative number of new listings. I keep saying active, but it's new. A cumulative number of new listings. When you look at everything from January through August, last year, 35,490. This year, 36,992. This recent pullback is just recent. It's just the past few weeks. We had a huge run up on the number of new listings entering the market. In the first part of the year, we had a big pullback on the properties going under contract in the first 2 quarters of this year, and all of a sudden it switched. And we've got a few graphs to take a look at this. Take a look at this. This is really encouraging, really exciting, because you can see that for the first 2 quarters, we were underperforming last year all the way to the end of April. And then from April to June, so April, May, June, end of April, all of May into the beginning part of June, we were neck and neck with last year. And then all of a sudden, we underperformed a little bit all the way to the end of July. And now, starting towards the end of July, we are on the plus side. We are now outperforming last year on the number of pending properties, which is really encouraging. This is exactly what we want to see. We have been positive the entire month of August compared to last year. Because the first 2 quarters of the year we were so negative, we are still down 4.8% on the cumulative pending, but we're making really good progress here so far this month. I am hoping that the momentum will continue. And because of that, you can see that the activity index has remained very steady. Whereas last year, it kept on going down. 2 years ago, it went down. So you see that positive market change. 2 years ago, really steep drop on the activity index. Last year, still a drop on the activity index, not as steep. This year, flat. So demand in relation to the availability of inventory has remained flat from the beginning of July all the way to now, whereas in the last 2 years, that demand in relation to the available inventory was plummeting. Not as much last year compared to 2023, but this is so encouraging that it's actually remaining flat, the activity index. And that's going to be the pending divided by the active plus the pending. The fact that we're not going down is really positive. And if you look at this, if you were to draw a line, we're actually just going up a little bit. I mean, if you were to go from the bottom to the top, we're noticing an increase in the activity index. In some cities, whether it's the city of Austin, we've got the best activity index for the city of Austin going back 2 months. We're not reaching record highs. There's only, 2 cities or so that the activity index now reached a 12-month high. We'll take a look really quick on the activity index. But for the most part, the entire market, just this slow and gradual improvement. So the question is, do you think that we've hit bottom? And I will say this. It's a very good question, Violet. We've got so many leading indicators right now that are looking really positive, from the price drop to price increase ratio, the pending positive year over year. It's like plus across the board. we are so very close. We have to wait for the month to end so that we can take a look at our market performance reports to see how those metrics compare year over year. But it is looking so encouraging right now, this entire month, and then especially the past 2 weeks. It's like, okay, well, there's another positive. There's another positive. Well, that's really good. Over and over again, we went from out of 10 data points, one of them being positive, to right now, out of 10 data points, 7 are now positive. And that's really encouraging. We have to wait about another 2 weeks or so. But if I were to make a determination right now, I'm into the 70% camp that we hit that demand bottom. And clearly we have. I mean, take a look at that. We have hit that demand bottom. And now we're looking more on the upside. The data is trending upwards. And this is that leading market indicator, which I am obsessed with leading market indicators. So the fact that the leading market indicators are now trending on the positive side year over year, it's fantastic news for us. It's a 70% chance that we have indeed hit demand market bottom. The data proves that. And then now we're on the slow and steady recovery phase of the market, which is super encouraging. Now, when you take a look at the activity index, new construction at 27.33, resale at 16.68. You can see the top cities and the bottom cities for the activity index. You've got Lockhart at 36.2 activity index, just incredible. Manchac at 35.5. Then you've got Buda Kyle fighting for third place. Kyle right now winning at 30.6, followed by Buda at 30.3, and then Jarrah at 28.3. On the bottom end of the spectrum, you no longer have Lago Vista last. Lago Vista is now starting to outperform the lower markets, which is really good. But you do have Spicewood at 7.3, Smithville at 7.8. Wimberley now is on the bottom 3 at 12.2% activity index. There you've got that new list independent ratio at 0.69. The cumulative number of new listings versus pending, we are positive 6,997. But we're no longer number one going all the way back to 2003, 2004. We are now under 2010, under 2008. So this is yet another indicator that went from, wow, we're the worst going all the way back to 2004 to, okay, we're now the third worst going all the way back to 2024. But my whole point is this is yet another positive movement in the market. The higher demand will cause this number to go down, and we're certainly noticing that. The new list independent ratio for the entire year is still at 0.69. In months of inventory, you can see that we are up 15.5%, but the trend line, same thing. It's going down. It happened last year also, but look at this. It is steeper this time around than last year. Last year, months of inventory went down at a slower rate than this year, slightly, but we've got a steeper drop in months of inventory in 2025 compared to the drop in months of inventory last year. So these are not congruent lines. And I'm going to start using some geometry terms because guess what I'm having to teach at night? I'm having to teach geometry. So these are not congruent, but we are noticing a steeper drop last year compared to this year, or a steeper drop this year compared to last year, which is really encouraging. And let's take a look at months of inventory. We do have 3 cities, Dale, Smithville, Spicewood, over 11 months of inventory. Then you go all the way back down and you've got Manchac at 3 months, Butte at only 3.63, Lockhart 3.7, Hutto 3.91. And here's another resource that I absolutely love, and this is where we compare inventory year over year versus year to date. Year over year, August 2024 to August 2025, City of Austin is plus 10.7. And we have 6 cities where inventory year over year is down. We've got Kyle, Driftwood, Dripping Springs, Cedar Creek, Wimberley, and Manchac. They're all down. Year to date, we have Buda, Wimberley, Lockhart, Taylor, Driftwood, Elgin, Hutto, Manchac, all down year to date when you look at inventory, months of inventory. And we are projecting just shy of 2,700 sold properties this month in the 6-county area. Last year we had 2,763. We're projecting slightly under that amount, so it is going to be a negative year over year. And that's where number of sold properties is going to be a lagging market indicator. That's why that one is backtracking a little bit in comparison to the pending. We are down 4.9% on the number of sold properties. Pricing skyrocketing. Unbelievable what's happening with pricing. Let's focus here. So far this month, we are up a mind-blowing $32,000 month over month on the average sold price. On the median sold price, we are up $27,000 on the median sold price. We're up $25,000 year over year on the median sold. We're up $35,000 year over year on the average sold. And take a look at the percentile analysis. We are up the top 25th percentile, what's considered the entry level to luxury. Not luxury. I considered Austin luxury over 1.2 or so, but the entry level to the top 25th percentile, meaning that 25% or more property sold for over $660,000 on the pricing side, up 6.5% year over year. So the top 25th percentile in the Austin area hitting record highs when you look at that year over year increase, doing very well, 6.5%, price per foot down 0.3. The bottom 25th percentile is down 0.5%, which is a very small figure compared to what we've been used to over the past few months. And then when you drill down to the city, you can see that the city of Austin, we're up 3.7% on the bottom 25th percentile. We're up 10.5% on the top 25th percentile. Are there any cities where everything is positive? Liberty Hill, bottom 25th percentile, up 20%. Top 25th percentile, up 24%. We've got Smithville is up. Those are going to be the only cities where everything is up, both the bottom 25th percentile and the top 25th percentile. So out of the 30 cities that we track, 12 cities are up year over year on the median sold price. 18 cities are still down, but that number is shrinking, which is really encouraging. We were at 19 versus 11. Now we're at 18 versus 12, which is really encouraging. And I want to remind you that I sent you the top 100 opportunities for August of 2025. And even the little blurb that I posted on the top 100 opportunities, you can see the property that I identified in Pflugerville, 78660, where that property is down $90,000 in a zip code that is up, in a city that's up. Pflugerville is up 1.7% on the median sold price year over year. When you look at 2024 versus 2025, 2024, the median sold price for the entire year was $473. Right now, we're looking at $407. So here you've got a property, cute property. I mean, take a look at that property that we identified, property number 14 on the top 100, which, by the way, you all, make sure that you post that. Make sure that you send that, you post that. That is a really good touch point for your people, your database, your clients, your social media. That generates business, especially as pricing improves. And imagine someone clicks on that link, they click on that property, it goes to your subdomain, and they're like, hey, I want to take a look at this. That is a gold mine for marketing. Take a look at that. But that's a property with a $90,000 price drop, under $300,000 in a city that is up 1.7% year over year on the median sold price. That is called value. That property has value associated with it, which is really encouraging. Now, these are some of the numbers that I personally rely on when we look at, can we call this a market bottom? And that's going to be the absorption ratio, sold divided by active. And that's going to be just a very simple ratio. You take everything that's sold this month, you divide it by what's currently active. I start updating this chart towards the last week of the month just to see where we are heading. That number may look really low, and it is low. Historically, it would be the lowest August. But guess what's going to happen between now and the end of the month? We're going to have more sold properties. We're going to have less active properties currently in the market. So I expect this number to go up. This is what we're looking for. We're looking for that 11.3% going up and beating out the 16.2% for July. That's going to give us that indication that, all right, we hit bottom. We're now experiencing an increase month over month on the absorption ratio. The same thing with this market flow score, which ranks the entire market between 0, nothing is happening, and 10, it's the hottest it could possibly get. We are at 2.63 right now, but that number is also going to improve because this takes everything into account. The percentage increase on pendings, the percentage increase on active, days on the market. It just grabs a lot of data indicators and it just plots everything into one very easy to read number, 0 to 10. We are at 2.63, but once again, that's because we've got partial data. And I just look at this so that every single day that I update this, I can just see that needle moving up. How are we going to close out the month? How are we going to compare it to the previous month? What we are looking for is an improvement. We're looking, if we get a year over year improvement, like I'll be the first one to tell you, all right, market bottom is now behind us. It's now going up. What I am saying is that the past 4 weeks have been borderline miraculous when you look at the number of pending properties year over year. So let's just take a look at a few more things that will be really encouraging for you. And that's going to be this one right here. And you can see the number of pending properties. We have now been up all the way to July 29th. Year over year, we've got positive increase year over year. Here's another one. Let's go back and take a look at the activity index city. Let me increase this a little bit. What I want to do is look at the historical activity index for city. And what are you going to notice right here? You're going to notice, let me make sure that it is green. You're going to notice the same, but positive from June. So there we have it. Positive activity index compared to June, 17.4, better than June. Positive. This one right here, not quite positive, positive. We've got the same for Cedar Park. We've got the same. We've got positive. You see, look, positive, 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 positive. You see, when was the last time we were able to do that? For months and months, we've been talking about oh my goodness, this is just crazy. It's just over and over. Look at this. This is record high, Lago Vista. Hey, for those Lago Vista realtors, whether you're doing business there or whether you live there, you've got the highest activity index going back 12 months. That's great. We've got positive, positive, positive. Manchac hitting a record high. We've got this one is bottom, but it's really close to the previous month. That's going to go positive. So that's another indicator that we weren't able to say this just a very short time ago. It was last month, last 45 days, where it's do we have to review data? It seems like everything is bad news. Whereas right now we're like, wow, it's mostly positive news. And then you take a look at months of inventory. And what are we noticing on months of inventory? Down, 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 way down, driftwood down. We've got drop, drop, drop. So here we've got out of 15, and then even this one right here, this one is down. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There you have it. Half of it, we're actually looking at a drop in inventory. Some of this is cyclical, but we're going to notice a even steeper drop in inventory. Why? Because the leading indicator, the activity index, is up. So we've got more properties going pending in relation to the properties that are active on the market. That is going to cause the activity index to actually improve. And when you take a look at, let me go back to market update, and let's take a look at some of our city reports. Take a look at the city of Austin. What do we notice here? We notice a slight improvement in the activity index, and we notice a drop in the months of inventory. Activity index is going up, months of inventory is going down, which is really encouraging, very encouraging. Well, you all, it is 10:46 right now. I just want to do one last update for you all, and that's going to be the economic calendar so we can see what may happen with rates. Overall, another really fairly decent report, which is the new home sales. That came in way better than forecast. Way better than forecast. We've got another question right here. Also, people pulling their homes off the market. Yeah, you take a look at Withdrawn. That number is pretty high. That causes the number of active listings to go down. And now we've got a little bit of an increase in the number of pending properties, which is why we track this information daily, which is why I'm telling you, if you've got a listing that's expiring, let it expire. Get a new listing agreement, relist it after 3 days, do a refresh on the pictures, rearrange the pictures. You want to put your home on the market and you want to ride out this fourth quarter because inventory is going down. You want to make your house the most attractive one left on the market. It has to be perfect. It has to be priced competitively. But I really like to stay on the market towards this fourth quarter so that you can have the highest chance of going under contract. Really positive new home sales, a little bit less than the previous month, which is to be expected, but way better than forecast. They were expecting 635,000 new home sales to sell, came in at a very, very bullish 652,000. Building permits, that actually went up also. We've got better than expected 3-month auction. We've got better than previous 6-month auction, which is really good. I updated the cap rate resource that we publish on a daily basis. And we have I believe 16 zip codes that are now outperforming the 6 months T-bill. Tomorrow is going to be a very important day for real estate. That's where we have the home price index. That's where we update the top 40 cities and we see what's happening with pricing along with the national home price index. That's going to be updated tomorrow morning. That data is released at 8 a.m. By 9 or so, you will have the updated charts on teamprice.com. I will email you all a update as soon as that's updated. We've got the consumer board, consumer confidence at 9 a.m. We've got some GDP data that's going to come out on Thursday, August 28th. That's going to be the second reading of the preliminary GDP, gross domestic product. That's going to be out Thursday. We've got pending home sales. We'll be able to update the National Association of Realtors pending home sale chart that we have on Insight and Statistics. And then we're going to close out Friday with inflation numbers, personal consumption expenditure. That's going to be a really big deal. Are tariffs impacting inflation? If so, by how much? And then with all of this information going into September, what is the Fed going to do with rates? Some people are saying a drop of 25 basis points. Some people are saying possibly up to 50 basis points. For me, it is a guarantee that they're going to drop the overnight lending rates. It's going to be, 25 or 50 basis points. That's what they're going to decide. So a very significant week for real estate, not only actionable real estate data that we can use, that we can share with clients, but also data that will impact rates. The Freddie Mac charts, this is going to be on Tuesday, on tomorrow. That's going to be the home price index and the Case-Shiller HPI. that's going to be released on Tuesday. Sometimes, even though they release the macro level, they won't update the daily city data until the following day or 2 days later. But by Thursday, what is this, the 25th? I would say that by the 28th, which is going to be Thursday, I expect that information to be updated. And then once that information is updated, we will be able to update the macroeconomic data. We're going to update the MBA. Well, that gets updated every Tuesday. We're going to update the National Market Index and also the Freddie Mac House Price Index. These two will be updated. The national one will be updated by Tuesday because that's real time. When you break it down per city, it's very common for them just to wait another 2, possibly even 3 days. At the very latest, Friday, but realistically Thursday, that data will be available, and we'll be able to update this resource to see how Austin compares with not only the top 40 cities population-wise, but also how does it compare with all of the cities that are tracked, all 384 cities. Any questions, you all? It is 10:51. I do want to remind you that, number one, please make sure that you post the top 100 opportunities, a super amazing resource that you can share with your clients. You received that email first thing this morning. It is personalized to you, so you're getting all the credit for that resource, that amazing information. That's number one. You've got to make sure that you do that. Number two, join us for our Wednesday real estate training. We're going to be talking about contract proficiency, and we're also going to revisit an amazing must-read resource and a must-have business blueprint for real estate, and that's going to be Ninja Selling. We have that as one of our required. As much as I can make it required, I shall. But, Ninja Selling is a great resource that we've discussed in the past, and I want to revisit that. That's going to be Wednesday. We do not have a Friday meeting. I will be in the beautiful, gorgeous city of Pittsburgh on Friday. I leave Wednesday morning, so the stats, you'll probably get the Thursday stats. I leave Thursday morning. You will get the Thursday stats later on in the day just because I have a very early flight on Thursday, but you will get the Thursday stats. But I will be in Pittsburgh the entire weekend. And this is more of a work trip for me. This is not vacation. I don't know that I would choose Pittsburgh as a vacation spot. But anytime that I take the kiddo out to her commitments, it's basically work. I wake up crazy early and I do my work. And when she's out, with friends, I usually get more work done. And Gail's not going with me, so I'm going to get a lot of work done. So I get a lot of work done. Feel free to reach out. I'm really proud of the work that you all are doing, approving contracts, issuing DAs. So I could not be more proud of you all as a team. That's going to be on Thursday. And because of that, no team meeting on Friday. And of course, Monday is Labor Day. So we do not have this meeting next Monday. That's going to be Labor Day. So we are not going to have a meeting on Labor Day. It is 10:53 a.m. Thank you all so very much for joining. Super appreciate it. Hope you have an excellent day. There is still time for you to do the contract proficiency for our Wednesday meeting, so we can go over that. So please block off 15, 30, 45 minutes and do the contract proficiency. For those who already did that, I will be taking a look at those. Way to go for those who did that. If you did not do the contract proficiency yet for this week, shame on you. Shame on you. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You ought to be embarrassed. You ought to refer every future client to someone else who did it. Maybe that's what I'm going to start doing. Number one, I should quadruple your E&O insurance if you don't do the contract proficiency. And I should require that you refer all of your clients to the agents that are doing the contract proficiency. What do y'all think about that? See, I try the encouragement route. I'm just hoping maybe the shaming route will work. So either way, make sure that you do the contract proficiency. As super important for you just to have contract mastery. Melanie said, hey, the shaming worked for me. I'm going to keep on doing it. I'm going to lay it thick right now. Contract proficiency, you all, is one of our non-negotiable core values. We want to be known as being the company and being agents that know more about the contract than anyone else out of the 17,000 plus real estate agents in the Austin area. I want us as a team to have the confidence that we know the contract better than anyone else. And because that is one of our non-negotiable core values, we have to lean in and practice so that we become experts, absolute experts. I will never forget when one of our agents' clients, actually a really high-powered attorney, worked for the Attorney General's office, and they had a question, or they were making a statement on paragraph, what was it? It was paragraph, I believe it was paragraph 6 of the contract. Paragraph 6C1 of the contract. And he was incorrect. And I was super polite and certainly not going to shame someone that worked for the AG's office. But at the end of the conversation, like, oh my goodness, you know what? You're absolutely right. I now see it. And you know what? It was so good to like, yeah, we know the contract. We know the contract. And that is a core value, a non-negotiable core value that we have. If you do have any questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, or complaints, please feel free to reach out. Check out the email that you're going to receive later on today with the summary of this meeting, along with the full new list and pending ratio, and have an absolutely amazing rest of your day. And I will chat with you later.